Hello, welcome back to the lab with me, Atomic Tom. Today we're going to be doing an experiment all about mould. Ugh, mould. Sounds gross, doesn't it? We're going to be thinking about how the different bacteria or dirt or all the different things that can get on your hands every single day, how they get there, what they might do, what it means, and how we can kind of understand that a little bit better. So it's a really simple experiment. All we're going to do is handle a couple of bits of bread and then put them in a bag and see what happens. It's as easy as that. We're just going to observe what happens. Now, it's not a particularly quick experiment, this one. You're not going to be able to see something happening in the next 20 minutes or half an hour, but we're going to set the experiment up and then we will leave it for a few days. So this is how it's going to work. All you're going to need is 3 bits of bread, 3 bags, a pen, and some dirty hands. Ugh. Now, if you want to, you could do this experiment in groups or with friends. I don't have any friends. No, I'm in my secret lab, so I'm on my own. But I'm going to do this experiment myself, but it doesn't have to be one person doing it. You can do it in groups. And quite simply, we are going to see why it is important to wash our hands properly. I mentioned about all the things that can get on our hands in a day when we're eating and playing with our friends in the playground and using books in the library that loads of other people have used. All these different things can mean that our hands get covered in stuff. And we're going to look at what the impact of that is, quite simply. So, I've got 3 pieces of bread and 3 bags. And what we're going to do is we're going to handle one of those pieces of bread with my hands that I haven't washed. Now, don't judge me, but because I've known I'm going to do this experiment, I've been like stroking the dog and rubbing them on the floor and on my shoes and places I know that will probably be a bit germy. So I know that this is going to be a bit bad, but I'm going to pick up a piece of bread and then I'm not going to screw it up really, but I'm going to try and rub my hands and my fingers all over it so that anything that's on my hands will hopefully go onto this piece of bread. There we go. Lovely. It's a bit crummy, but not to worry. After I've done that for a couple of seconds, I'm going to put it into this plastic bag and then seal it up. And on the bag, I'm going to write dirty hands. There we go. Dirty hands. It's a bit scratchy writing, but that's okay. We know which one it is. And this bag is going to stay sealed for, I don't know how long. I mean, I want to leave it for maybe 2 weeks to see what happens. And even after that, I might leave it for a little bit longer. Now, hopefully, we're going to get some mould growing on there. So it might be a good idea for you to label them and put them somewhere safe so that they don't get cleaned up and thrown away. We don't want to leave them in direct sunlight, but maybe just in a cupboard, or make sure it's somewhere safe though, because we don't want to be growing mould places it shouldn't be growing. We don't want to make anybody poorly with it. So there's the first one, dirty hands. The next one, I'm going to go and wash my hands with water, come back and handle a piece of bread. And this one is going to be water. So in fact, let's write that on there now. Water. And this one is going to be our third bag, dirty hands, water. What could we wash our hands with before handling this piece of bread? Soap. Some of you have heard of it. Excellent. Soap. So we'll put that on there. Lovely. First job, I need to wash my hands with water now because I've already done the dirty hands piece of bread. So I need to make something different for the next part of the experiment, what we call a variable. Cool. Okay, so I've washed my hands with water, and it was quite interesting because when I washed them, I was thinking, but I'm touching other things. I touched the tap, I touched the towel to dry my hands at least a little bit, because I thought I didn't want to get the bread wet. So actually, if you think of all the hundreds of things that you touch all the time, even when you're washing your hands, it's quite easy to imagine that there are lots of different things on there. And over the last couple of years, we've been speaking about that lots, haven't we? So anyway, hands clean with water or washed with water now. Put a little bit of, rub this all over it, a little bit like last time. There we go. Feels a bit weird doing this, just rubbing your hands on a piece of bread. It's not what you normally do, is it? But there we go. Right, water. Okay, put that in the water bag. Get all the crumbs out of the way. Seal it up. There we go. Excellent. Water. Perfect. Dirty hands, water. And now I need to go and wash my hands with soap, wash them properly, and see what happens with this piece of bread, which I can't touch yet because I haven't washed my hands. But we'll see what happens with that one after that one compared to those ones. Cool. Good. So these lovely clean hands have been washed with soap now. Sure, they look cleaner. But again, I dried them with a towel and I was thinking, oh no, if there's bacteria on this towel, then maybe that's going to change the experiment. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to see what difference it makes. So I'm kind of trying to squidge it around, get it all over my hands like I did with the other two. There we go. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, because this experiment doesn't take very long to set up, what you could also do is a little bit of research all about mould. It is a really, really important and interesting topic. There have been medicines and things made out of mould. That's one of the most famous examples. But I've kind of deliberately not told you too much about it because it takes 2 minutes to set up that experiment. You might want to go to the library, get some books or use some computers, iPads, whatever, to research how we use mould, where it's used, why it's important, how it can be useful, or how it can be dangerous, all these different things. Right, I'm going to put a few pictures, a little video at the end of this one saying about how these pieces of bread will change, or hopefully how we see them change over the next few days. Because as I said, it's not going to be particularly interesting to just watch it. Can't see anything happening. Any minute now. Any minute now. No, I'm going to come back in a few days. Right, hope you enjoy that one. Nice big atomic science shout to finish off. Have fun. Atomic!